What is going on, people of the internet? Man, today is an extra special day. And y'all know my favorite phrase, right? It's episode 37 of the ChatBot podcast. You must know it by now. And that phrase is, every day is a good day. But when you're with a COO of a giant pizza company, your day just got better. And today we're actually with one of my all-time favorites, one of my favorite clients, Stoner's Pizza Joint. They are the ones, y'all. Believed in this thing since January, one of the first ones. And we'll get into that nerdy stuff, but not going to keep a COO waiting. Guys, please help me welcome the legendary Scott. What is going on, man?
That intro was slick. I don't deserve half of that.
You should see me freestyle after the show, dude. It's so fun.
I know it. That intro beat was pretty slick too. I was jamming to it. Awesome.
Me too, guys. This guy is a legend. Let me tell y'all something. He's worked with some big companies, some that y'all are definitely going to know. And if you don't know about Stoner's Pizza, you're going to learn all about that today. But Scott, I think this is your first time ever on a podcast, and I put you live. That's the scariest thing ever. How like
you tricked me into it. That's the bottom line. But it's we got to push each other. You and I know this very well.
He is one of the few people in this world, folks, that can just take anything I dish out. Even when I talk super fast and try to confuse people, I just can't do it with him because he'll make me repeat it 25 times. But he is an excellent communicator, and I'm going to let him do some talking. And Scott, just tell the audience here a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how you got in this food and beverage game, man.
Well, loaded questions right out of the gate. Getting, I said to you a little earlier ago, getting in the restaurant industry, trying to figure out how and when is a little bit like figuring out when you started breathing. It's just something I've done since college. Got out of college, completely unrelated, had no idea that I would be doing restaurant things for the past 10 years, maybe longer. But you learn it at a young age. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. You wait tables, you're a service person, you learn it, it sticks with you. So it translates. You can fall into it. That's sort of what I did. I've been started with Zaxbys, great group of people over there at Zaxbys, and moved through some of the ranks there, ended up in Nashville, ran some routes out west, did field support and consulting for them. And then moved to New York and worked with Wings Over, another good group of people. A little similar to where we are at Stoner's and sort of that middle range. You're not small. You don't have just one store or five. You've got multiple franchisees spread out. So that was a good run. New York was just not my style. So that's a little bit about the last few years. But tough to go back and remember, when you first got into restaurant stuff. Yeah,
when do you recall what your first job was in food and beverage?
Yeah, I think so. It was Dunkin' Donuts. I was
No 15, way, dude.
I was 16 actually, and had to pay off some speeding tickets. Yeah.
What kind of card you have? Did you remember what kind of card you were speeding in back then when you were a youngster?
I think back then I had a little 2001 Mustang or something like that.
Oh yeah, man. My brother had a Mustang. I know he got some tickets. I never had a fast car like that.
I'm not a fast car guy. Learned that pretty quickly.
I want to see if you agree with me, Scott, because this is something I've always kind of said. My first experience in a real job was working in a hotel resorts in the West in Savannah. I thought I was going to be Spadoni. He's still there, by the way. I thought I was going to be that guy. So I started off in the resorts, and I had, my nose kind of up in the air. I knew that the hotels the hotel was like $300 a night, rich people stuff when I'm 17 years old. Right. And then as I got into college, I progressed into the food and beverage scene and worked for a large restaurant group here on Hilton Head. And I'll tell you one thing that I learned in college and with that restaurant group, it's my opinion that hospitality majors and hospitality folk in general are some of the most fun people on the planet. Do you agree with that? Or is it just me? Am I just lucky?
It is. I mean, it's every walk of life, every type of person. You get to work with a lot of great people. A lot of them are, just really good at their trade, really good at their craft, really good at helping people through sometimes a very important night. Sometimes it's a sad night. Sometimes it's a celebration. You never know. So, I couldn't agree more. You learn a lot. You meet a lot of great people. Work hard, play hard. Everybody likes to get off work and crack a few pops. That's part of the deal too.
Yeah, work hard, play hard. That is totally something I think it falls in line across the board in the food and beverage scene. Like, they're the most hardworking people I've ever encountered. And personally, it's and I've told you this before, it's people like you that you just don't stop and you're constantly solving problems. And me, I'm solving computer problems most of the time. You're solving people problems. They're much more complicated, contrary to popular belief.
Sometimes
I don't have employees to deal with. You have hundreds. Sometimes, but you've learned a whole lot. You solve a lot of things. You don't need me. My days are numbered. It's okay. It's a job.
I don't know about that, buddy.
I'll tell you what, we've had some fun. We've done some things, and for context, now that I'm thinking about it, because I feel like I've just known you forever at this point, truthfully, we kind of started around the same time. I keep forgetting that. Like, you just when I came in there rocking crazy Jordans and flat bills because I don't want anyone to see me. It's like my invisibility cloak. That's why I wear that stuff. You're in there like basically suit and tie, man. I'm like, who is this? I thought this was a Stoner's Pizza. Where's the dreadlocks here? There were none. This is a very professional bunch, and I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. That's my first impression of you is, those meetings back in the day with, the round table of minds. What is it like being, because I've never been, the COO of a huge and growing brand? And if you can remember, how many stores have we grown? Like, what did we start with, 12? And you've like grown the place to like 20 extra places or something like that. I know you can't say everything, but it's huge.
Well, we've certainly been fortunate, and sounds like we're getting some wind in our sails for 2021 for sure. But yeah, it's great to come into a company that's we've seen some adversity. We've gone through some changes, even since I was involved coming on in January. So and then you have a pandemic in the middle of that, and you got all these challenges kind of running separately. So it's been a challenge. I think that's the best part about this is that, we brought some people up and we moved some people around to make a team, and Ashley Dempsey and Cheyenne Ramos, along with John Stetson, everybody's kind of come together. We were kind of a pieced together team, and we fought through some things. And I think being a leader or being in any role, really, including general managers and shift leads, that feeling of seeing everybody come together and succeed is the ultimate, fruit of your labor. So it's been fun. We've done a lot. We've come a long way. Looks like we've got 3 stores. Well, 2 more stores that are going to open maybe the week of Christmas, maybe a week after, but it's kind of a weird spot to open. So we're looking at early January to polish off kind of the 2020 stores. And then we have 9 in development, possibly some more coming in 2021 and 2022. So we got our work cut out for us. There's no doubt.
Man, that is incredible growth, and shout out to John. I mean, I'm trying to like get him on this podcast, but he's just like the busiest guy in the world. And he told me a very expensive price when I said it would be 30 minutes. I understand what presidents of companies do and stuff, right? But shout out to John. He's such a cool guy, and he's just opened up the 2 places, or the place in Davie, killing it, by the way, with the ChatBot game. We'll get into that.
Yeah, Davie's looking good. It's kind of a weird time to open stores, but John's smarter than me. He probably gave you a pretty good number. And,
and he said if it's live, it's double. Man, you know what? I'll tell you what, man. All it's going to take is me looking at my phone in the morning to see what my to-do list will be. But I think I can say this: there has not been a challenge that we have not been able to solve. That's what the key is in the restaurant business, is being nimble. Just like being in digital, where I focus in hospitality. So I understand, like, things change, things happen. You got to be nimble, and opening as many stores as you have, I don't know how you do that, and you're able to keep a life as well, and you're in the wife studio right here. It's so awesome. She's got the real deal microphone. I'll bust you out right now. This ain't your studio,
I know.
right? But this thing
Completely
right here,
not mine.
you solved so many problems and done so many different things. It's incredible. Like I would not call you even though you are a food and beverage professional, like you're so more than just food and beverage. Do you agree?
Well, you certainly have to adapt. I mean, things come across, issues happen not only in tech, your third party vendors, your distribution, your logistics, trying to figure out compliance with state and local levels, the COVID-19 compliance, not only for the store level but for the city and municipalities, crossing state lines and trying to figure out some of that stuff. There's no shortage of challenges, but I think the biggest thing for this year was everybody had to adapt. So I'm not alone. You know, it's probably something that more people are finding themselves doing. It's just, you know, your day is locked up, and you kind of move through it as best you can.
Well, that you bring up a really interesting point there, and you know, you're allowed to toot your own horn on this show. It's okay, because the fact remains, and you've hit on this. This has been a really rough year for restaurants. I mean, I literally started the app and like, A, B, not lose my house and mortgage and stuff, but B, help these restaurants also not close. But what have we seen? So many, what has it been, 40% or something like that of restaurants have closed this year, and they won't be reopening. So you have on one hand an entire side of a coin closing down, not planning to reopen because they can't, even if they wanted to. And then you have the other side that they stay alive. But then we're seeing the pizza industry specifically, and with your brand specifically, exponential growth. How do you explain that in such a crazy time for restaurants in general? You know, it's mind-boggling. I think it goes down to what you said. The team thing makes a difference, because you can't do it all. Even though you could do everything, you can't do everything all the time in all the places, right?
Right. Yeah. You really do have to start with that. It's been a really rough year. I mean, I think I read an article, could have been a New York Times article. It said 10,000 restaurants are going to close in 2021. And I don't know what to do with that. Do you say that's a conservative number, or in say, okay, you know, that's on the high side, or do you say that's just the tip of the iceberg? So one, I think it's just timing, right? The pizza industry, for whatever reason, just survives everything that gets thrown at it. It's just unbreakable. There's oversaturation, no doubt, but when the chips are down, pizza is up. And so
I love that quote.
we've gotten a little lucky. I mean, it's true. I mean, if I was in
So true. Yes, you're so like, I can't think of another thing that is so untouchable and unbreakable as the thing we love, pizza. Like, that's my favorite food. Every Tuesday I go to Giant Trek. You know this. Every Tuesday, well, like 3 Tuesdays in a row in the month, until like the entire staff can't handle it. We're eating pizza. Then we have Jersey Mike's or something like that. But like, it's true. Pizza is just like, for me, it is that comfort food. It is unbreakable to me. And it is the most nimble of industries, in my opinion, because there's so many challenges and problems to solve. And it's like the pizza guys are the ones that do it first for whatever reason.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like that. I kind of get it now, though, right? You have so many different variations of things that you can create. There's so many toppings. You know, that's one layer, and then you have the cheeses is another layer, and different types of dough and different types of cut. So there's so many levels that you can do, which gives you access to kind of manipulate your menu and kind of pick different things. But it really is funny coming from chicken, which chicken is a high commodity market. You know, it is sort of where it is sometimes, and getting into pizza. It's in the minutia with pizza. You really get into the amount of like each item. And that's very interesting, instead of, you know, wholesale or selling by the pound or something like that with chicken.
And I guess now more than ever, the places that aren't pizza are dealing with third-party vendors and Uber Eats and such, maybe more so than a place like so fast food oriented, like a Burger King or a McDonald's or something like that. with the Uber Eats and the third parties, do you think those guys have helped or hurt the industry more so than the other? And they're not listening. Don't worry. They're not listening to this. They're not allowed.
Yeah. I think they've helped. And I say that because it is still a lifeline to people that weren't using it. It's not glamorous. The packaging is not great because we haven't planned for things like this for every single food item to go into a package. There are challenges, but I still think that we would be in a much darker spot if there wasn't access to use some of that. Luckily for us, in some other segments, we had delivery already. So it wasn't difficult for us to maneuver that. But for the regular person that wasn't in that situation, yeah, I don't know what you would have done. I mean, other than just, start your own courier service. I mean, that's the only other, or get insurance and hire drivers. But at that point, you're 6 weeks down the line.
And I think there's a great point to mention there. I think Steve from PMQ mentioned this. The pizza industry, where he started off was Domino's, and they were consumer first in every single way. It wasn't about the ingredients. Okay. The Domino's has never said we've got the finest of all pizza ingredients ever. Right. It actually had that reputation of like just being the college pizza. And in fact, that's where all the Domino's were located at one time. So they just made it quick and easy to get the pizza to the consumer. And I think that the pizza industry, whether it is the way their websites are laid out, the third-party delivery services like Uber Eats and DoorDash, the third-party services that assist with online ordering for restaurants, I think that there's so many pieces of the restaurant pie out there that eventually it becomes optimized. It's like, well, we understand, like this is what I was talking about a little bit yesterday. So like we understand now as a more mature restaurant what it is actually doing to the bottom line when the 20%, 25% margins come out, the commissions come out of those orders versus the delivery that you had that's in-house, right? It's a pretty big difference, and it adds up, I would assume, especially over time with a ton of restaurants, right?
Yeah, it's costly. There's no doubt. I think that the one thing that's probably going to happen, in my opinion, is at some point, those third-party delivery companies are going to have to make a choice on whether or not they want to see these 10,000 stores close and keep their rates the same, or do they cut rate and try and save that long-term business? And I think they're going to pick the other side. They've done a lot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Uber's made breaks and DoorDash has done good stuff. But I just don't see a time where 30% or 20%, or if you're in the big game, you're in the teens, or if you're lucky, I just don't know how long people are going to be able to do that.
It's not sustainable.
No, exactly. I think you'll see something happen, and I don't know whether that's the IFA or restaurant associations or anything. It's probably going to get down to that. But it's certainly changed things for the better. I think it's opened up more channels, and then folks will give you a shout out to Tap the Table. There's any channel. I always tell you this when we talk, is any channel that you can use right now is worth trying. There's really no downside, because the downside is, okay, it didn't make any money, or we didn't produce at the level we wanted to. There's no commitment. You're not you don't have to pay Uber if you don't do anything. You just don't get any order.
That's right.
So Tap the Table is the same way. It's where you can order through social or whatever it is, whatever's coming. I think it's important for restaurant folks to stay in tune with technology, because that's where this is all headed.
That you nailed it there. It's important for restaurant folks to stay in tune with technology. Got to write that one. It's important to stay in tune with tech.
Your price just went up.
He's dropping bombs, man. We got some people looking. I might have to check on these comments. You're streaming live, Scott, in like 6 different places right now. It's crazy. It is crazy. And I think it is extremely important to stay in tune with tech, no matter what industry you're in, but especially with restaurants, because and I think you're hitting on what I want to say about this. They're going to have to change whether they want to or not, because if they don't change, then those 10,000 restaurants do close, and then they'll have that $10,000 or 10,000 restaurants to make money off of. It'll hurt their bottom line too. But I think that what has gotten them so far is the list, is the data. So as restaurants become smarter and smarter, and they understand, wow, that 20%, it was rocking when we first got our first 100 Uber orders, our first 100 DoorDash. That was awesome. I love those guys. And after you hit the 1,000, it's like, well, that's a lot of money we've been losing out on, and it's because you can't remarket to them. You can't reach back out. I think that's the issue and the problems that we're going to be looking to solve in 2021. I think we've got a fun solutions.
Yeah, you're touching on something where new customers are harder and harder to get. So for them as well, not just for internal stuff, you're tending to see just repeat orders come through. So you're touching on that they need to keep that data flow going by having new folks, and so they're reaching out to restaurateurs and saying, okay, well, what marketing can you do to change the game and change what people are seeing so that they'll sign up, right? That's
exactly.
With Tap the Table, you don't have to do that. It's more direct. It's more intentional. You can create it your own way. You're kind of at the mercy of these bigger players. When they say, hey, why don't you do a, buy one, get one, it'll move you to the top of the list. All they're trying to do is get more signups.
Exactly. And when you're discounting and they're taking the commission, that really hurts. And so, yes, it's nice to get the food product out your door, and it's nice to have your employees have something to do. But at the end of the day, no financial business person ever plans to just chop off 30% off rip. And that's the thing that they're not considering. And, it just doesn't happen. When you have a business plan and you consider, all right, this is how much money I think I'm going to make. And you start making that money. And then maybe you say, all right, let's make it extra X amount of dollars. But then the commission hits and other hidden fees. And we are not even going to talk about the POS guys, because that's what they are. Got them. Nice. They are the most ridiculous of all fee people ever, And so these folks, I think they're going to learn. I think the technology here is just getting started. Tap the Table's doing fun things. There's other companies doing some fun things. And I think that really and truly, especially if this health stuff doesn't just disappear like it should have after the election, although I guess that thing's not over yet. Who knows? Like, as soon as this thing decides one way or the other, if it goes the way I don't want it to go, I highly believe technology will flip things on top of their heads like multiple times. And the big boys, they're going to suffer. I think that it will happen because the right things in the world always win. Even if they're the last to win, they'll always win. And so let's talk about something that else is a winner, and that is the Stoner's brand. And I want to know, because it is so fun, what is your favorite part about this brand? Because it's so unique and it's so fun.
Yeah. The word I try and use is, and this is a packed word. I already knew I was going to say this. Just fair warning out there, is that we're not claustrophobic. And I think that kind of gives you an idea. Is we're a hybrid between, you've got to serve food at a high level. You've got to hit numbers or else this thing doesn't work. But at the same time, we're pretty all inclusive. There's obviously our name is Stoner's. The company is not, it's not going to turn you away for who you are. And we want to make sure that you can come in and enjoy where you work and then enjoy the product that you put out. If those two things happen, you kind of succeed, right? It's hard to build that. I think we're always working on that. There's a ton of things we can do better, but if you can kind of come to work a little more relaxed and feel good about where you are, then I think you'll tend to make that into your food, and then the guests will somehow see it just subliminally. I think it's just good and overall good vibes. So I think
overall good vibes, I think perfectly nails it, dude. Like, because even me as a third party coming in, and it's always kind of, at least me, you're always nervous when you're coming into other people's workplaces and such, as you've done consultant work, as you mentioned, you know that feeling. It's not the way I've typically felt walking into a place, although you guys do some serious work, and shout out to Ashley and Cheyenne because they're working so hard. Like, it makes it to where I can't slack. I can't have an excuse because like they work till midnight doing the thing. And they're like, text me till 12:30, ask me where the thing is. So like at the same time, I'm happy to do all those things because they're awesome. And it's not like the ultra corporate America feel where you're getting the email and the CCs and all the things. It's nothing for, hey, Ryan, in a text, Ryan, can you help us out with this? Ryan, can you make this do that? I'm like, sure, easy. And I think you're building such a culture that the vibes are great and it's just going viral, man. I think that's what's happening, and we're not seeing it yet. I'm seeing it more than you because you're just doing too much. You're growing so fast and people are happy. It's not common.
Yeah. Well, we've had good marketing support. You've helped us out with some of that. And we've transitioned through a lot. And I think we struggle sometimes with staying on brand and trying to cater towards that good vibes feel. But we'll get better at it as we grow. I mean, we're kind of still in that infancy phase when you really look at the grand scheme of things. We're looking to double in 2021. So, the controls of the brand and kind of how it moves through culturally are going to be something we focus on. We're creating an LSM platform for franchisees where they can go in and purchase or download certain content. And so it's, again, trying to be nimble, right? How can we get the message to the most people the correct way? And so, all right, if I'm a franchisee or a business owner or an operator, I can just go to this one spot. I can find 6 different things that I can use right now. And then if none of them work, then we get involved and we try and figure it out. So I think Stoner's as a brand is very fun. I think I enjoy that a lot. I think a lot of people probably think of it more as, we're a bunch of high all the time hippies and stuff. And look, again, we're not going to turn all that away, but you got to come to work. You got to get the job done. You got to hit your marks. You got to have fun doing it. That's what it comes down to.
I think you nailed that. And again, like I've seen quite a few of the locations, been there myself, and it's a sharp operation you guys have. Like, we have early meetings, folks, and I drive from South Carolina to their meeting downtown Savannah, Georgia, where I'm from. And I love the drive, by the way, but like, it's early and these people are awake and moving fast, getting things clean. And the building that we meet in is right in downtown Savannah. And it's moving, it's bustling. That's a busy area. I'm sure that place does some numbers, right?
Yeah, that store rocks it. We're really proud of those downtown Savannah, West Boundary Street. Those folks down there, they're all rock stars. And keep in mind this one thing I mentioned, pizza is a late night delivery concept. So a lot of the folks are coming off of work until 3 or 4 in the morning. And then some of them, people are up and at it at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, getting to the store, making sure things are set up for 11 a.m. So it's a huge effort just to get, the amount of people that need to be there to work. So if you don't have that, why am I here? Other than, everybody's got to make money, but what else, right? What you can go make money in several different places. But what makes you want to come to Stoner's? And I think we're starting to really see that. We have a lot of return employees. We have a lot of return people. So hopefully we're trending in the right direction, but I mean, major brands chase this rabbit. I mean, it's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing to create, and then it's a really hard thing to keep.
I know that so many times you're thinking, just like all of them, the clients that I actually talk to in text message. So you guys in Gyro Track, for the most part, are the ones I'm really in tune with. You're probably all the time thinking, oh, what is Ryan telling me now? What is he saying this for? But like, when I told you those things, you're like, dude, I don't know how you're doing this. Dude, do you see what is happening? Dude, do you see how happy your employees are? These are not like figments of Ryan's imagination. I'm very observant, if you haven't noticed. So now like you're regurgitating all these things, and it's so cool because you know what my favorite thing to do is just predict things, right? I mean, times I like to make predictions about stuff, and half the time Scott's just like, "What the heck did he just say?" And the other time he's like, "Well, I agree or firmly disagree because." And you're one of the fun people and one of the smart, successful people I can have those conversations with, and I know I'm going to get a valuable answer back no matter what I'm bringing to the table here. I have this question because I think your answer is great about what you loved about the brand and the vibe totally nails it. For me, it's the fact that it's not all about the freaking money. I love money, but it's for stoners, it's not all about that, and in that in multiple different ways. But one of the coolest things that I saw was, and like in the meantime, I'm like, I am my own accountant here. So like, I'm trying to do numbers in my head based off of things I know. And like, how in the heck are they doing that, man? But how many free pizzas did you guys donate, especially in Savannah, my home city? Made me so proud. I can't tell you how proud I am to work for your brand because of this fact that community, hashtag I'm fancy, matters. It's so cool. You could have said the pizzas are $1 or the pizzas are half off. But no, like multiple times this year from Florida, shout out to John again, to you guys down there in Savannah. Like, what do you think? How many pieces do you think you guys gave away to like just help people eat, this year?
Yeah, that's probably a bigger number than I'm willing to admit, but
yeah, I got you. I hear you. That's a big number.
But a good size, right?
Yeah.
I think the one day where we did the drive-through at the back of West Boundary Street,
that's what I'm thinking of.
We tried to give away a roll of toilet paper and a free large pizza in the back of your trunk. We ran out of toilet paper, so I guess that's good.
Same.
I think it was somewhere in like the 8,000 range. I think it was.
Hey, and listen, folks. Let me tell y'all something. That is a lot of pizza that they could sell. That's a lot of pizza that they could have made money off of. They chose to do this. No one told them to give the pizza away. This is a great brand move on so many levels. And I've had, thankfully, lots of hashtag Throwback Thursday posts I've been able to do over the year talking about these times to help the community remember, Papa John's, they didn't do this. When did Domino's give you 1,000 pieces in the parking lot or whatever it was? It's crazy the things that you guys have done for the community. And I think that is why you have such a huge pizza fan club. Like, people like food because it tastes good in general. Okay. Pizza is great, but pizza in general, like, I am a connoisseur. I can tell different pizza, but in general, I don't think people can really tell. They go after the brands that they like. And your brand that you've started creating this year, just really big time, is one that's just easily liked, on the food side, on the employee side, and on the digital side. I think there's what's not to like.
Yeah, it is likable, and there's no doubt. I think it goes back to, can you show up to work and feel pretty good that, hey, if I just make pizza the way that I know that I can, or make the food is something that I would serve my mother or my grandmother, as long as you can do that and treat people, your coworkers, and treat people well, I think it's a pretty good place to work. I mean, when I was coming through and did training at the stores, everybody kind of felt like that, that they were accepted, and that, you could work here, and everybody would kind of band together at the tough times in the peak areas. But it's a really fun, vibrant, young, up and coming feel. I mean, it has a lot of startup feel to it as well. Even though the brand's been around, we inherited some of these stores as kind of support from the corporate level. It's kind of supporting these stores that existed. But there's still so many things that happen, websites, redesigns, all the stuff. We could sit here for probably 30 minutes and run through it. But that stuff was really kind of interesting to walk through and try and figure out what do we have here and what are we using it for.
But and that's going to bring me to a question that you're going to charge me for this one too, because this is a secret one. Didn't even give it to you. Look at that face, y'all. You can't hide this. Right before he got on here, he said, "You can edit out all the parts I mess up on." Right? I was like, "This is live, dog." And he said, "What?" But let me tell y'all something. This guy, who is a COO of Stoner's Pizza, like, he knows all the things in restaurant world. He's basically a POS guy himself. He can do all the things. me tell you something. To the tech companies in the future and marketing companies in the future that work with Scott, let me tell you something right now. If you listen to this, understand you cannot get anything past him. He can probably do your job at this point. He has done lots of things. I'm not going to put them all out there. He knows lots of things. He knows all the questions to ask a marketing professional, especially the ones that want to hide the things or be slow. You can't be slow with Scott. And he learned a lot about chatbots this year. He's helped develop many funnels, chatbot funnels, into at the table with me for campaigns. And I just want to know, because you've seen the things from the community or the customer support to making sales or ordering pizza through a Facebook comment, for example, or collecting a phone number through a comment. Like, you've seen all the things. You've had me adjust quite a few things. And John has too. I had a spelling error I had to fix. Good thing at the table is mobile friendly. It was easy to fix. No one saw it, right? Only like a couple hundred people.
John will get you on that.
Well, he does. He does nothing gets by him. Nothing. He's probably watching right now, smoking a big old cigar. Like these guys, they don't know nothing.
Writing down notes. Like, all right, let's get some improvement here.
Exactly. I really got to have him on here before I'm done. But that'd be man. The audience would love that. Y'all just gang up on Ryan Day. That'd be funny on the last episode. I think on the last episode, what I'm going to do is how I sent you the link. I'm going to leave the link open, and anyone that wants to join, as long as they have clothes on, they can join. I might throw them off real quick.
Yeah, just nobody pulling a tube in.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. But of all the things that you've seen, our automation do at the table, what's been your favorite thing, or the coolest thing, or the most surprising thing that you would talk about with another restaurant? Like, if they were to say, and maybe they have, it's like, man, how did you have this thing talk to my phone all the time? It's really cool. I want that. What would you say? Like, oh, this is chatbots. This is automation. But what's really cool is this. What do you think? Candid here.
Aside from just the cool look and feel of everything, or in the back end,
like no one knows. Like, guaranteed. Even like the 2,000 Facebook friends I have, I know. Like, here's the thing, dude, and it's so funny. We talked about this so many times. I'll ask someone to try it, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, I tried it." I'm like, no, you didn't. I see that you did not. Right? Yeah. What I'm saying is, no one knows what we know. They don't know these things. We're so far ahead. So, like, the automation, like, for example, when someone comments, no one has seen that. That is like so new. When someone comments and then our page hits them back in their messages. Right, they don't understand this. Like, nothing's exciting to this guy anymore because he's seen everything. He's seen everything, so nothing excites him.
But I will say that the ordering, back to what I said earlier, every channel that you have available, you should try, right? So this was a channel that I was unfamiliar with. You kind of know it can happen. I mean, everybody can scroll through their phone and kind of figure out, all right, well, what if I could just order my entire order without talking to anybody or without doing it? And then the marketing side of it, I'll answer your question. I guess I thought of a good answer is, if you think of having a special or something, or a marketing campaign, or if you've got something that just popped up and you want to do a giveaway or whatever, you can create the entire campaign in less than an hour, and it'll hit people's phones. And then from there, you do absolutely nothing. It comes through as an organic online order effectively. And so it's just it's a very nimble way, once you get the hang of it, to take an idea and put it in play as quick as possible.
I think that nailed it. It's in essence what he's nailed it for those of you. And I know there's the majority of you guys that are watching this super nerdy podcast. At least today we've got a pizza guy, so it's not quite so nerdy. For those of you that don't know what automation is in Messenger, it is a conversation that is designed by you or your company or your marketing manager. It is designed to convert your customer into a sale. So in our case, a lot of times we found success in this year was creating content to get people aware of grand openings, for example, because Scott has opened so many restaurants this year. Like, we've literally had to make grand opening campaigns on the fly because now we have a date. Now we have like all systems go. And so sometimes we have maybe 7 days to run ads everywhere we can. And we focus a lot on social media, and the goal when you're not open, they can't order from you. Is to build the awareness, right? But where other restaurants fail to meet Stoner's intellect here, guys, they're not building a list. They have a Facebook post or a billboard, and they say, we're opening on this date. If they have a date, please come give us money on this date. Don't forget us, right? That's what they're doing. They're not building the list, guys. What I talked about on every single episode. This is episode 37. Every single episode, I've said the list is so important. And the reason is when we have a list, what are we then able to do? On Friday, when we open, text them, go straight to them. We do not have to worry about a Facebook ad rolling the dice, hoping it hits their feed. And that's the thing that people that don't have a list, they'll never understand. That when you want to tell, I don't know how many, it would be scary to know how many text messages you've gotten from Tap the Table this year. It'd be scary to know how many messages you've gotten in Facebook, but like you've gotten them, you've read them, you've seen them. Right. You know, like you can't recall the number of Facebook posts you've seen or Instagram posts you've seen or even emails you've seen because you get so many and it's just so crowded. But that the one space that's not just totally spammed out yet is text message. And I think you guys, you should have won an award this year for the work you've done with your openings using the tool. It's been incredible to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, no, it's been a game changer. You have to have something that's different than the next guy or the next guy, right? So we've kind of figured out that this new program, new platform, it does a whole wonder of different things. But if you can control the process from start to finish, and you can open a store and gain that information from start to finish, the likelihood of you getting a conversion or a repeat customer, that somebody that shows up more than 3 times, is pretty high.
Yes.
They also can now order a different way, which is now an activity. So it's something that they've done. So it's been great. We need to push it. Our challenge is everything's franchises, right? So what we've done in one store, we don't have the control necessarily to just say, hey, we're going to do it for the whole system, but we certainly need to put it in play whenever we can.
And I think we are going to have a lot of fun in 2021 together, man. I love working for you guys, and I love that Tap the Table is working well. And this is what he said. What he said, ladies and gentlemen, and robot folk out there watching this podcast as we close out, he's told you nothing but the truth. This guy's been so transparent. And he says, you have to be different. You have to try things. You have to understand that even if you don't like tech, you need to understand you got to be a part of it. He's done that. He's tried all of the things that have made sense. Some of the things I remember him not being sure if it made sense or not. He's asked me, I've said, totally makes sense, or that is a scam. But he's not afraid to try things. And I think that is a testament to the brand and a testament to you, man. The brand itself is not afraid to do what the brand thinks it should do, to have the vibe it should have. And you're not afraid to do anything to make sure success happens. So, dude, I am so thankful that you took time. I'll write you the check. We'll just take it out of my check next month. Go ahead, just take it right out of the check of how much I owe you within reason, because I have to live. And hopefully I see you next week. Are we meeting on Monday, man?
The chances are pretty high that I'll be in Florida on Monday. So,
well, I will expect my daily text message of things to do or things to fix.
The Monday roundup. Yeah,
it's good. So. It's good. You know what? This whole health thing's taught us to be nimble in meetings too, because it's not the excuse to miss a meeting. We still have our meetings, conference calls, or in person. We're doing it, right? Or you have Ashley and Cheyenne just crack their whip on me and just get Ryan to do this now.
They're pretty good at it. They'll text me in the morning and say, we're meeting today. So they're pretty on it.
Well, man, thank you again so much. Any last words or final advice to the audience out there who are restaurant owners or they're trying to figure out how to navigate this crazy time? They can learn from the pro right now.
I mean, it really is. when you get into it, you have to be the tech person. You've got to be the operations person. You just wear whatever hat you can, and you just do your best. For an example is that Lamar Williams just chimed in on a question, and am I supposed to answer these on here?
Do it.
So the website became an issue not long ago. The company went through an acquisition not long ago, and as a part of it, we've had some troubles getting everything kind of figured out on that end. So anyway, we've had to restructure it. We're in the works of a whole new website, kind of a fresh new look. I do like the thought that it's franchise freedom, but they have freedom on their own individual pages in some ways. But as far as access for the main landing page, we'll control on it.
That's right. It really is an interesting environment. That's a good question. I always forget to read the comments, man. I read them later, but by then it's too late to respond anyway. So again, like, guys, this is the perfect. Like, this guy's like a professional podcaster. His first podcast, and it's live. He's answering questions for the host. This is insane. But that's a great answer, and like, that was a fun challenge, wasn't it? When this guy's, I'm telling you, he's told the truth the entire time. When he said that we face challenges, this was one of them. And this is another example. It's got to be nimble. The brand had to do this and they had to do that, and they've done it. And they're continuing to adapt and roll the punches and punch back. And it's like, I don't know who won in that last boxing match with the old dudes, but I think it was a draw, right? Was it a draw? I don't remember. But like, Stoner just like bamming him, like just straight right hook.
I think Lamar, that was a little rigged, I think.
Thanks for joining us, Lamar. Thanks for the question.
Hey, man, tap the table 2021, man. We'll get some more word out there. I think it's key.
It's taking over, man. Well, Scott, thank you so much. Appreciate everything that you've done for me this year, and we'll continue to kick butt through to 2021. All right, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks. It's been great.
Take it easy. Guys, thank you, and thanks to Lamar and anyone else that's been chatting with me that I've been unintentionally ignoring. Thank you all for watching. This has been so fun, and you don't get to talk to these people like this. Like, to have the COO of such a large and fast and growing company, using Tap the Tables, awesome. But to have them on the podcast and to be able to freely ask questions, that's value, guys. That's what I promised you since day one. I wasn't going to sit up here and do anything unless it brought value to you. And I hope that you feel like today did. Again, thank you to Scott and the entire Stoner Pizza Joint crew. Hopefully we can have some more of those folks on maybe a little bit later on this year or next. If you have questions, guys, as always, feel free to ask them. We'll always answer them to the best of our ability.